See what I'm saying?
Hey, what's up? It's the man you all know and love, E. Digger, the host of the Charm City Direct Radio Show. Make sure you catch me and my crew every Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. only on BExposedRadio.com.
He's dead.
Oh, 6 years after he passed away.
It states she reportedly had heard rumors, but nothing substantial. But then you put the rumors
while
death.
They were still married.
You sentenced the rumors to death.
While they still were married, she heard rumors.
Right. Okay. Probably all her life she's heard rumors. Like you're dating, you're dating your dad, right? Y'all look just alike. I'm like, girl, somebody told me you dating your father. You know, that's what kind of thing. You know he gay, right, Percy?
Please, why are you laughing at him? Don't laugh at him. Please don't.
Okay, let me continue with the story. Oh, man.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. I'm your host, Brother Mike. How's everybody doing today out in TV land, internet land? Close to the mic. All right, let me see if I can get in closer here. So as I was saying, welcome to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show, everybody. I'm your host, Brother Mike, here with my guest, Miss Samantha Dennis. Hi. This happens to be a special day for Miss Dennis. Yes. Tell them why, Miss Dennis.
It's my birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. BBD team's birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Dennis.
Thank you.
Appreciate you hanging out with us on your birthday.
No problem. I'm excited.
You excited?
Yes.
All right, that's what's up. And, of course, I got my man Kevin Little here with me. Kev, what's
going on, man? Can't complain, Mike.
Another day in the land of the living, right?
Another day, man.
That's what's up, brother.
You know?
Give me 1 second here. Let me see if I can link in. We on live right here. That's what's up, brother. All right. So again, welcome everybody to the show. I'm your host, Brother Mike. So before we get into anything, it's a couple things I want to quickly go over that is missing today. The first is my voice. Brother's under the weather a little bit, right?
Just a little bit.
So I'm missing my voice today. So I asked everybody, bear with me. I'm hanging in there. I love my show. I love my audience. So I still want to come, even though I'm not feeling too well. But I will take a cough drop and see if we can make this happen. And then, of course, Mr. Niece is not with us today. So we're missing 2 elements, but we still going to make this thing happen. So I do apologize for my voice being a little off today. But I got a big mouth, so I'm going to continue to keep on trying to chop it up with y'all. So we're going to send out a couple invites here. See if we can, get some invites going on here. So let me see. There we go. All right, let's send out some invites. You guys all right over there?
Yep.
So, how's you guys' weekend been?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Anything eventful happening?
I was super turned up.
You was turned up? It's your birthday, right?
I went to Philly for my birthday.
Okay.
And my sister came out, and all my friends came out, and we went to the bar, and we had a good time.
Oh, nice.
That's what it's all about, man.
Now you
gotta turn up for your birthday.
26.
26. Wow, 26. I didn't know I was only a couple years older than you. That's amazing.
I know. That's so amazing.
26. Oh, how I remember 26. So you had fun though?
I had a great time.
You said you was in Philly?
Yeah.
Okay. And you was partying with your sister. That's how you do it. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Party with somebody you can trust. You know what I mean? And go, end of the night you can make it home safe.
I was definitely
because you plan on getting tore up, right? So you want to be around some people you can trust.
Definitely.
That's what's up. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed your birthday. I mean, that's what's up. You only get 26 one time, right? So you definitely gotta enjoy that. Kev, how about you? How was your weekend, brother?
Pretty simple,
Pretty simple.
Took the family out Golden Corral.
Okay.
A little overtime at the job.
Okay, money.
I took it easy, made a little money, laid back. My team got a win yesterday. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
who's your team, brother?
Ravens Nation.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, man.
Ravens Nation, right here. BBD, Ravens Nation.
You got Eagles fan?
No.
Oh, okay.
My brother-in-law's an Eagles fan, but
Yeah.
come from a Patriots nation.
Oh, Lord.
Patriots,
Tom
New
Brady.
England. I wish I'd have known that. I'd have bought your ass a bowl of clam chowder for your birthday.
I like clam chowder.
Yeah, I
so
bet
it's
you
fine.
do.
It's cool.
That's what's up, man.
So weekend was pretty good. Yeah, my weekend was okay. You know, other than getting sick, but I went to go see Dr. Anderson. I'm sure you guys have heard me mention Dr. Anderson before on the show. You know, that's my guy. You know, I see his work as being, you know, mentor type work, and I read his books and watch his videos. So he was actually here in Baltimore at Pleasant Hope Baptist Church, I believe it was. Yeah, off of East Belvedere.
Okay.
Yeah, off of East Belvedere. So I did that on Saturday night, and that was cool. It was nice to see Dr. Anderson. I've admired this man for, you know, a while, and you know, I tried to you know, incorporate his teachings into some of the things I do with BBD, and his work actually inspired me to come up with BBD and so forth and so on. So in honor of that, we're going to do a show today based out of Dr. Anderson's second book called Powernomics. And in Powernomics, he's got 3 impediments that he feels is preventing us basically from moving forward. Right, so the first impediment is maldistribution of wealth. The second impediment is inappropriate psychosocial behavior patterns, and that's the one we're going to do today. Yeah, we're going to do the second impediment today.
Okay.
And then the third one is the lack of a empowerment plan.
Yep.
You know, where he's explaining how, as a people, we don't have a national plan for us, and that's something we need to do. So maybe we'll do that one on another show. But today we're going to focus on the second impediment, which is inappropriate behavior problems. Inappropriate socio behavior problems, to be exact. But in a nutshell, inappropriate behavior problems. So I thought that would make a good subject. I love giving Dr. Anderson's perspective, because most of the time I agree with his perspective on things. And I think it stimulates great conversation. So just off the top of the head, right, before we even dive into it, when you guys think about inappropriate behavior amongst black people, like what are some of the things that come to your mind? You know, before we even do, I just kind of want to brainstorm a little bit to see what do we even see as inappropriate behavior.
I think the stereotypical black people behavior is what I tend to think of. Like, it's sad to say, but people, or black people, do act black.
Right,
like when they do certain things.
We
like,
definitely got a stigma.
Yeah, getting loud in the stores when you're not happy, or
Okay.
being rude to, you know, a server. Like, there's typical black people behavior that I don't agree with.
So it's inappropriate.
It's inappropriate.
Inappropriate behavior. Okay.
I agree. Yeah. It's nothing wrong with being aggressive, but sometimes at the wrong times you can be a little too aggressive, or keeping it real at the wrong times.
Okay.
Like that Dave Chappelle skit when keeping it real goes wrong.
Oh yeah,
Remember that?
Yeah, I love that.
The scenarios he presented was
example.
very, very interesting and on point.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because that particular black person put themselves in, you know, awkward positions. You know what I'm saying? On the opposite end of success from trying to keep it real at the wrong moments.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, you know.
Inappropriate behavior.
Yeah.
So let me ask, so being that there are like pretty much hidden guidelines of like how black people, as a people, we feel like we should be acting. So when we think of inappropriate behavior, we're basically thinking what, that these people are going outside these guidelines. You know, like as a black person, they're already looking at you in a stereotypical way. So the last thing you want to do is support
Play
it.
into that.
That's what you were getting at, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I definitely get that. For me, just off the top of my head, and of course, you know, Dr. Anderson's going to go much deeper, but I see inappropriate behavior as, you know, things like if I go to the females, you know, now I'm a man. I don't mind watching videos of females twerking and showing their assets, right? That's just the man in me, right? But
Nature.
it's not something I want my daughter doing, my sister, my mother, my lady, girlfriend, or whoever, right? So to me, you know, again, as a man, I can appreciate it because I'm shallow. But
You admit it.
right, at least I admit it, right?
Honesty, man.
But it could be viewed as inappropriate behavior. It's not exactly what I refer to as queen behavior.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? You know, so I think that's inappropriate behavior. Of course, as you know, supporter of BBD, you understand what I mean? You know, I think it's inappropriate behavior for black people to be going at each other when another black person steps forward on a particular subject. You know, so like we'll remain silent on a particular topic until that one black person decides to say something.
Right.
And then here comes 8, 9, 10 other black people to tell you that black person's wrong. But it's like, but you didn't have nothing to say. Until dude said something. Yeah. So now you stepping up to argue with a black person.
Wow.
Inappropriate behavior. That's inappropriate to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't see a lot of other races doing that. But like, yeah, we'll be completely quiet. See, it's different if you had your opinion from the beginning.
Right.
I had mine from the beginning, and then we debate that, right?
Absolutely.
But like, if you got nothing to say about the injustices, for example, that's going on, and then I step forward and say something, and then here you come to say, well, he ain't doing it the right way.
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't say it the right way. And I think we're horrible at doing that.
Yeah.
That's inappropriate behavior to me. You know what I mean?
That's very heavy in the black community.
Yeah, it's
man.
very inappropriate behavior.
Instead of like coming together to join, to make a union and see how we can make each other organizations better.
Right.
Working together.
Yeah.
You're right, man. They come in judgmental and putting down the next guy.
Right.
I see that a lot.
Yeah, so I definitely have my opinion on what inappropriate behavior is. During our last show, we won't go into details, but we actually had someone from another radio station plug their radio station during my live show.
Wow.
And to me, inappropriate behavior. You understand what I mean? Inappropriate behavior. I'm not your competition.
Exactly.
Go plug your show on Howard Stern's show. You know what I mean? Don't plug it on mine. You understand what I mean? Who am I, right? You get no points from that, and I'm on your team.
Right. Same team.
Same team, right?
Same
Inappropriate behavior. Inappropriate behavior. You know, so I think it's definitely some things that need to be discussed, and hopefully we can dive into some of them today. So what about when it comes to, and I'm going to ask y'all because I don't have experience with this. What about when it comes to black people having money? Now, speaking of Dave Chappelle, remember he made the statement, they should never give y'all money. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So what about inappropriate behavior with black people who accumulate wealth? You know, do we move
extravagant,
into
excessive spending?
You live the most flashiest life you could
unnecessary
possibly
stuff.
live when you get money.
Like, look at Tyrese right now. Not to bash my man, because, you know, the custody dispute situation is sensitive, but the money issue that he's having, that brother been in so many movies, Transformers,
Transformers made a lot of money.
Fast and Furious, and he's like in debt now. Like, come on, man. There's no way you should be having money problems, man. If you was, but see, he got a Benihana in his backyard. You know what I mean? Unnecessary, yes. And keep in mind, that's his house, so they can't generate money from the public just coming at it. So that's unnecessary.
Right,
excessive.
That's just him showing off.
Just showing off. Wow. That money could have been, you know, like in your savings account somewhere.
So what do you guys, speaking of Tyrese, what do you think about the response that black people gave when this man poured his heart out on camera?
Got laughed at.
Yeah, so like, what's our take on that?
I have no sympathy for that.
Right.
Like, if you're going to live your life in a non-responsible way, then whatever comes from that, that's on you.
But was he irresponsible?
By having a Benihana in his backyard.
Yeah.
I'm talking about strictly from the money standpoint, not from the custody. Not from the custody.
I got you.
Yeah. What about the video with him on there crying about his daughter, and then like they joked him on like social media?
Because not everything is for everybody. Like, you shouldn't be on the internet crying, having the platform that you do, and expecting people to take you serious.
That's true.
So let me play the devil's advocate here, right? You know, the man is under some type of duress, right?
Okay.
With the daughter, with the situation with his daughter. So do you think he was trying to appeal to the public's sympathy? Like, listen, I'm a star.
Yeah.
But this is what's going on with me. I'm you know, because like
he's human too.
The way that I kind of looked at it, at least one perspective is like he was coming at it like they treating me just like they treat y'all.
Right.
That's
what I got from it.
Right. And I'm a celebrity. I'm not supposed to go through this, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I believe he was right. I believe he was using his platform to bring to light what's happening across America to a lot of different men. You know what I'm saying? The same situation happened, so I think he was trying to bring light to it.
Okay.
Get a little sympathy. Maybe he made a fool of himself in the process. And people shallow, so they're going to talk about you.
Yeah, he was very emotional. You know what I mean?
He was.
Crying, if he would have went about it a different way.
Yeah.
Like he shouldn't have shed tears.
I could have respected it more, but...
Right, yeah. That it was definitely extreme, you know what I mean? And I tried to, like, you know, look at it from the perspective, like, evidently this man must really be going through something, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, you know, this is something that we as black people, especially black men, deal with every day.
That system.
It doesn't help us to make videos, you know.
Crying.
He was real tears.
Oh,
but he blamed it on a depression medication, which is another thing within itself. It was a reaction to
that it was. My man Nate said they spoiled.
They spoiled,
I agree, Nate. Yeah, because he put that out there like he was announcing, you know, some type of disease that was about to take over the country. Like, when I seen it, you know, I'm like, okay, Tyrese must be saying something serious.
Right.
So then when he was on there crying about his daughter, I'm
just
like,
changed the way he looked in my book. Like, you know, all the people be like, oh, Tyrese, and now he's just some sucker that was crying. So I'm sorry.
You can't take that back.
He said Tyrese was the thug R&B from Compton up to
Baby
that
Boy,
point.
look, everybody thinks of Tyrese and think of Baby Boy as this thorough, and you know,
right.
Now he's just some sucker that cries.
Oh man. He got mad too. He put a video out afterwards, you know, talking about, man, y'all try to clown me, you know, I'm just showing my emotions.
Yeah, he's too emotional.
Like, that's how it happens, though, right? Yeah. That's how it happens. So, I thought that was interesting, though. All right, so we're going to break off and go to our first commercial break. Again, I'm Brother Mike, the Black by the Man radio show. I apologize for my voice today, everybody, but, you know, bear with me. I'm hanging there, and I'm going to keep on running my mouth. So we'll be back after the first break.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com. I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. Exactly. Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature, and I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do, and I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
But it's popular, it's getting that person money, it's getting that person applause. Oh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them.
And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, and I was thinking, like, you know,
the Artist Exchange radio show.
Even as a comedian, if I say a joke and it just might not fit your cup of tea, but it's mine, that's what a comedian is supposed to do.
But people forget
everybody's not going to find your jokes funny. They better find mine funny.
But they forget that, though. They really forget that. They forget that but it's your view. That's why they didn't fire her.
Yeah.
Because her viewpoint is controversial.
Her view. That's the view she sees.
Right.
Everybody is clear to her.
Like, they did their reaction to
cellophane.
They did the reaction to the Chris Rock Oscar, and they were talking about Stacey Dash, and I don't think she agrees with Stacey Dash, but she pointed her out as somebody who has an opinion that's just different from everybody else's.
Her opinion is just stupid, though. Stacey Dash she's like a Dash. Let's just move on.
I think she's intelligent, but her
You're still going.
opinion.
We're gonna move on. Stacey Dash doesn't need to be talked about. She's irrelevant.
You said her name like 3 times already.
She's irrelevant.
I said it once.
Dash. Dot. So, I couldn't have meant that more. She is so irrelevant. I'm not even going to say her name. But we're here every Tuesday, and we talk about people just like that at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Man, it is what it is. Man, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K, check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio at 9/11.
Coming to y'all soon.
Check out this snippet from the new season of Talk Lately with Monty about Jennifer Holliday.
Anyway, let's get back to
yeah. Well, what I wanted to say is that I can understand 100% where Jennifer Holliday is coming from, and that's sort of kind of where my 20% came from. When I basically came out and said who I voted for, I received a lot of backlash. Even on my own talk show, which comes on every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m., I was called a coon.
But
okay, yeah, shout out for the plug. But yeah, someone actually, they told CJ Bernie that I was a coon, and that really hurt me. I've been called everything from a fat whatever and everything, but someone actually commented on his Facebook.
I didn't even say that. That's kind of
called me a coon, but it's
coon.
like I like you. It's crazy because I just feel like someone like Jennifer Holliday. I understand why she stepped down, but I'm kind of upset with her because I think she still should have performed. If you want to jump out there, then stand in your truth. Don't let no one stop you or change your mind about anything. And listen, no one put a gun to her head and made her sign on for that. But it just seems like, she was basically, she was bullied.
But see, the thing about it is they will put a gun to her head to not do it.
I don't think so.
Well, that's what the threat says. You gotta say it's why it's called a threat. You don't know the hypotheticals in there that could happen to you.
Why do you think
she's not a well-known singer, so she's not going around with security. As soon as she goes to get her tracks at the mall,
right?
Pow!
Right, but at the same time,
we got a whole bunch of dead cats.
Yeah, but like what she said in the footage, today on The View was basically it's not white people who was threatening her. It was us who was threatening her.
Right. Where do you think she live? I think she live in Atlanta.
Exactly.
They gonna get her at the Ku Klux Klan mall and drag her by her hair. Her hair made a cat. She got the new weave.
I don't have Jennifer Holliday money, honey. I don't know what it might be because it's. I don't got Jennifer Holliday money, but me personally, I feel as though like I said, once I kind of came out, and even being on this show, because I'm pretty sure the headline says Trump supporter, I'm putting a lot of myself out there. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com. You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
Listen to Elizabeth Warren talking about Black lives and Black life.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Miss Samantha Dennis, who happens to be her birthday. Yay. So again, happy birthday. Everybody wish Samantha a happy birthday. You can text in, you can call in at 410-702-5657. That's 410-702-5657. Participate in the conversation. Wish Samantha a happy birthday. Keep it rocking. And we also heard my man Kevin Little.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Always a pleasure, man.
So we're talking about inappropriate psychosocial behavior patterns, according to Dr. Anderson in his book Powernomics. Yeah. And that is the second impediment that he says that stops black people from moving forward, right? Yep. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so he says the conditions of black Americans cannot be totally blamed on white society's structural monopolies. The second impediment to empowering black America is inappropriate behavior among members of its group. Their inappropriate behavior patterns stem from distorted vision. They are conditioned to be colorblind. They neither want nor like being black. Deep, right? That's a little deep. So right off the bat, he's like, look, yes, we deal with white supremacy. Yes, we deal with racism. But we also can't blame everything on that. Right. Exactly. We got our own things we need to deal with, right? So he says blackness is not just a skin color. It's more so an appropriate behavior pattern based upon rational perspective, a perspective born out of a group's experiences and continuing dilemma. An erroneous perspective causes inappropriate behavior patterns. These behavior patterns de-empower rather than empower black people. In a society based on white superiority, it is inappropriate behavior when black people participate in their own subordination and exploitation. It is inappropriate behavior when their actions support the established racial hierarchy and encourage dependency on white society. So let me just stop right there, and then I'll read the rest. So he's basically saying, you know, yes, you have to recognize the society that you live in, right? Absolutely. But you also have to recognize your behavior within it. And anybody who is participating in inappropriate behavior is actually supporting, you know, white supremacy.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the whole system itself. So someone that may be supporting inappropriate behavior within a society dominated by white supremacy, like what type of behavior do you think he could be referring to? Wow. I'm thinking of black conservatives, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm thinking of black conservatives. Oh, man. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at a black conservative, I don't know if they understand it. I know we don't understand it. But first you have to look at the word conserve, right? What does conserve mean? Okay, it means to keep things the same. Okay, so if you are a black conservative, and then you look at what is that black conservative participating in that's going to stay the same. Well, what he or she is participating in is keeping white supremacy on the top, and us on the bottom. That's what being a black conservative really deals with. Now, I know there's plenty of people that would argue about that, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. You're in place to conserve what's already in place, which is white supremacy here and minorities and black people down here.
Absolutely.
So as a black conservative, that's what pops in my mind when I think about people who are conducting inappropriate behavior in a manner that's not ratchet or anything, but still supporting the system that is in place to keep us at a certain level. I mean, what do you guys think?
I agree with that.
Inappropriate behavior that support the
I would
established
say,
racial hierarchy.
Most definitely. I would say the current violence, the gangbanging.
Current violence?
Each time they kill another brother over a color
of
a rag, that's, you know, helping white supremacy reach their common goal.
Okay.
You know?
Hold that thought, Kev. Yeah. We got to take another commercial break, and we're going to pick up on that. We'll be right back after this. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, everybody. Check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show. So, since we're talking about the book, can you give people a synopsis of what the book is and what's the name of the book again, and then what it's about?
The name of the book is From Trial to Afflictions. More than one, because there were more than one afflictions.
Yes.
The book is talking about, actually, it's my life story. And I have to add in there that when that prophet told me, he said, tell your story, write the story. He said, and God said, tell your addiction. Now, see, I'm not going to tell the addiction because you have to get the book to read it. But it was about deliverance. It was about all the, trials and tribulations we go through. People that come into our life, even people that come to try and break you down or draw you down so that you can't stand for God or worship Him through your situation, because that's the adversary using them. We have to know that. But through it all, I was still praying and fasting. I needed help from God. I really did. I needed help from God to see me through. And for anyone that's going through, I say that this book is about different afflictions.
Yes.
Going through them, how you get through them. And I had a sister pushing me too, praying for me. I thank God for that again.
Yes.
But it also talks about deliverance. There is deliverance in the process.
Yes.
And you have to be willing to see yourself first, to know that you need deliverance.
Yes.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
right, we are back, everyone. Welcome to the Black Body Man Radio Show. We are talking about inappropriate behavior patterns today. And in case you missed it, my voice is not here today with us. I've been looking for it. I can't find it yet. So bear with me. We're going to try to get through this. The show must go on. All right, so Kev, we want to get back to what you was talking about.
Yeah.
You were talking about gang violence.
Absolutely.
Talk to me.
I believe the gang violence contributes to the white supremacy's common goals, which is a long list of things, but
extermination being the main one, right?
That part of the extermination.
Exterminating ourselves.
Doing their job very well for them, to the point they probably laid back, like we ain't even got to worry about that because they doing 100% of extermination for us.
They set the environment up for us to become,
and that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Projects, which was a project, you know, so... Yeah,
that survival mode that we get put into, and when you trying to survive and you look around and you need to eat, you go after what's right around you.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? Like no stick up kids don't say, you know, let's get in the car and drive to the white neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they be like, nah, yo, we getting them over there, right there, right?
That's true.
Inappropriate behavior. Yeah. All right, so let me read a little bit more here. So he says the more a minority group, especially a planned black minority, becomes dependent on the majority white society, the harder it is for the group members to differentiate who they are and behave in their own best interests. Their dependency distorts racial reality and causes many of them to live in a state of denial, tolerating and justifying why they are in an oppressed state. They are generally willing to accept their poor quality of life and avoid any form of competitiveness unless it is against members of their own group.
Absolutely. Last part just took it over.
Yeah. That last right there. Willing to accept their poor quality of life and avoid any form of competitiveness unless it's against members of their own group. That's exactly what I was talking about the plug that we got. See, inappropriate behavior. You want to rise to the occasion when it comes to going against your own people. That's inappropriate behavior. You know what I mean? Like, black people are not my competition.
Right.
That's just it at the end of the day. It's not to say that on, I guess what you call a friendly competition level. Right. You understand what I mean? Absolutely. So if you sell shoes and I sell shoes, right? So we friendly competition. That's his business. But I'm not going to go out here and slander you. Absolutely. You know what I mean? To make people feel like, well, don't go to Kevin. His shoes are cheap. Right. I know where he's getting them from in Hong Kong. You know what I mean? That's out of line, right?
Yeah.
Inappropriate behavior. So can you guys think of any examples where like black people are willing to avoid competitiveness unless they are competing against other black people?
You see it every day. Like people that live in like a project area, you're complacent with being where you're at. You're in the hood. You know what it represents to live in a certain area. But you become so complacent and just accepting life for it is what it is. But the minute you see Johnny from down the street moving out, it's like, oh, he doing something. So now I gotta, come back with it and beat Johnny or do better, just so that you don't seem like the last on the list. That's what it is.
Competing with people right in your neighborhood.
Just so that you don't seem like you at the very bottom, but you're doing more than so and so.
Okay.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I tend to see it a lot, especially in, like I was saying earlier, when you have situations and, you might not have too many black people speaking on the situation. But then when that one black person does, here comes the other black people to tell all the rest of the black people, yeah, he's not doing it right there. Right. And it's like, but wait a minute, you wasn't doing it at all.
You wasn't worried about it.
Right, you wasn't worried about it until you saw me do it. Wow. So I definitely think that that's inappropriate behavior. And I think we experience inappropriate behavior even amongst each other when it comes to business. Because we'll go buy something from another race with no questions asked. Quick. Yeah. Drop it down.
Won't question the price of anything.
Right. When it comes to dealing with us, we become very critical.
When a discount.
Right. When a discount, the food wasn't seasoned right. You understand what I mean? They took too long to deliver it, so forth and so on. So again, that competitiveness that arises out of looking at your own people and saying, I'm going to outdo that person. Now, I like Mr. Neely Fuller, and you can find him on YouTube, and he speaks about this, and he speaks about how as black people, we don't understand that competing with each other doesn't move us forward. Like we have to be on the same team on many levels in order to have an effect that's going to affect the whole community. But as long as I'm just trying to outshine Kevin and Kevin trying to outshine me, we not even seeing that there's somebody above us outshining us.
Both of us.
Both of us together.
We can come together and beat that one. You know, the person
right,
at the top, basically.
Right. Yeah. And that's what everybody does with us. You know, they come together and you know, beat us out.
There's nothing wrong with being for your people. I think that's what people get it mixed up with.
Right.
As if that comes off as being racist or discriminatory. Like,
right.
There's nothing wrong with being for your people because other races do the exact same thing.
Right.
The Asians do it for damn well.
Yes.
They don't go outside their race for
They're not
very
apologetic
much.
about it.
No.
Yeah, they don't go out their race for really anything.
No, because like you were saying, all the other races understand that playing for their team does not make them hateful towards another team. It just means I'm on, you know, Team Asian or Team Black. So this is who I play for.
Common sense to them.
Yeah, it's second nature, right? But to us, we've been programmed a certain way. So my experiences with black people, when I say we have to start playing for the same team, they think I'm being racist, which is just, oh God, this is so disturbing. You know what I mean? It's so disturbing.
It's a big thing nowadays.
You know, because go ahead.
Calling black people racist is a big thing nowadays.
Oh yeah.
If you say the wrong thing, that's pro-black or whatever the case is. You're called like a black racist, man. It's crazy.
Racist and a hater, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the other thing. Like we're to a point now as black people. Anything we say we dislike, you hating. Yeah. Everybody's not hating.
Did you see the video on Facebook where it was a Caucasian woman? She went into Taco Bell and was asking for fries, and it was a woman of color that told her, like, it's Taco Bell, we don't have fries. And she was like, I've never felt so discriminated in my life. Right? This is so racist. Wow. And I'm thinking to myself, like, lady, you have lost it.
Quick they throw that card up.
Yeah, like,
right.
They tell she was high as hell, dead wrong.
Right.
And she kept asking for fries even after the girl told her, we don't
sell fries.
Wow.
This is a taco place.
Yeah. Now this was a Caucasian
yes.
woman.
Yep.
Now see, for me, that's the white supremacy in her.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Where they're not used to being told no.
Exactly.
You get what
I'm saying? By certain people. Yeah.
Right, by certain people. So it's almost like, how dare you tell me there's no fries?
I feel kind of like for her even saying that she's being discriminated against. Like, you've grown up in a society that's built for you to win. Like, for you to face any sort of, or think that you're being discriminated against, how dare you?
Right.
Like, how dare you say that?
Right. Well, you know, their skin is very thin. I definitely learned that through some of the teachings I received from the elders. And actually, it's a white woman I learned that from, too, Jane Elliott, if you guys ever seen her on Facebook or whatever. But she speaks about how, and this is a white woman speaking on it, right? But she speaks about how, like, white people can't even handle 1% of what they dish out to black people every day.
Oh, hell no.
You get what I'm saying? You know, right? They can't even handle, 1% of that.
If you're unfair to them just a little bit, they go off, man.
They go off.
They don't play that.
Now, she was known for that experiment that she had, that she did with the color eyes and all that.
Is that the one that had the classroom?
I think I did see her.
Yes.
She goes.
She made a little girl cry, didn't she?
Yeah, she made that girl cry.
I forget what she was talking about.
I forgot how she made it cry, but it was crazy though. Yep.
Yeah, because she made her realize that her actions, she's really racist.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
She didn't want to believe it.
She did not want to believe it. She did not want to accept it. Yeah. But she told her, no, your behavior is racist. Now, the part that I really liked was when the girl got mad, right? And then she stormed out of the classroom. Right, was crying.
She said, "If you leave, don't come back."
Right, and then the girl came back, and then she was like, "Oh no, you're not coming back in there." She like, "See, that's the white supremacy in you. You think you can do what you want. You think you can interrupt the class, act a fool, cry, storm out, walk out, and then when you're ready to come back, then you come back." She said, "Absolutely not. You get out of my classroom."
Straight up, I was like, "Whoa!" And the comments was going off. People was like,
"Oh, that was so funny."
They was bashing the teacher, calling her all types of names. And the comments, of course, you know what group was bashing her, of course.
Right.
And, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, so, right there, she's explaining inappropriate behavior from them. You get what I'm saying? And I know today we focusing on us, but still, it's there, right? So let me see. The more minority group, especially playing black minority group, becomes dependent on white majority society, the harder it is for the group members to differentiate who they are and behave in their own best interest. Okay, I think what he's saying here is because, we are in a white supremacy society, that is distorting what we see as appropriate behavior. Do you get what I'm saying? Because our behavior patterns are being based off of this society. Instead of us as a people establishing a code. And say, this is how we conduct ourselves. So going back to like you were saying with Asians have a certain code of conduct. It's not based on the society that they live in. It's based on them, their culture. Exactly. So he's saying ours is being based on that, and that's causing confusion.
Wow, that's deep.
That is real deep, right? Yeah. So I'll read on. He says there are many types of inappropriate behavior, ranging from the classic Sambo, and then he quotes, a Sambo is a black person who betrays his own race to gain personal profit for himself, right? To a militant with an attitude of blacker than thou arrogance. Inappropriate behavior is the manifestation of the intentional softening of the competitive impulse in an individual or group to the point that everything is strutted upside down and backwards. Okay, so he's saying inappropriate behavior is softening our competitiveness. So we're not competing as a race of people, as a group of people on the level that we should be, because we're so engulfed in inappropriate behavior. You get what I'm saying? So engulfed with competing with each other. So engulfed with trying to make sure the next black person is not getting ahead of you. You know, so engulfed with not wanting to participate in black empowerment. You know what I mean? Because you see yourself as such an individual. Right. You know, so right. So instead of trying to join,
I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Right. You know, I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Oh my goodness.
That's okay, man. It's out there.
Yeah. So I think that's what he's saying right there, man. Inappropriate behavior is softening us on a competitive level, because we're not competing like we could be competing. You know, like we are an awesome, exceptional race of people. Right. But somehow we've been duped into believing that, like, when it comes to high competitiveness, you know what I mean, owning the buildings on the block, you know what I mean, trying to build a school for your people, so forth and so on. We tend to leave that to the other races.
Absolutely.
And then we just simply want to join that. Once it's done.
Like, we can't dream that big, I guess.
Right. We can't create a Harvard. But we want to go to Harvard.
You want to go to
and then tell everybody else, oh yeah, you know, my son goes to Harvard. Right. You know what I mean? Without the understanding of, like, we should have our own Harvard. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. But we judge our success by what we can do in, I guess, the outside world, outside of our race, like with going to Harvard. We all know Harvard is a predominantly white school.
Right.
How many, other ethnicities really go to Harvard and succeed to that level? So when we say, oh, my son's going to Harvard, that's supposed to mean something to you.
Right.
That's supposed to be like, oh yeah, my son's the cream of the crop, because he can
He
can go to school with the white kids.
With the white kids,
succeed,
right? He can go with the white kids. So again, that's what he's saying. Our competitiveness has been reduced because all we think about is competing against each other by saying, listen, I get this acceptance, like you said, Harvard. Right. I go to Duke, I go here, I go there. You know, and we're not knocking going to those schools. We're just using that as an example, but we tend to look at that as this high level of success. You know, like, I can go to this school and you can't. But the reality is, especially with a brother like me, I don't even want to go to Harvard. You know what I mean? Because why do I want to get further indoctrinated into a society that's made for me to be on the bottom? So you can go to Harvard, you can get all your degrees and all that, but unless you create a plan to make your ass white, it ain't gonna matter. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you get the paper from it and all that, and that's great.
Ain't nothing.
But if anything, take that education, bring it back to your people, and try to, do something beneficial. So I understand the game. If you can go to Harvard and get that job, do that. But just stay in touch with reality, right?
Yeah, a lot of people, they go to Harvard and they forget where they came from. Because they done got so hostility that I went to Harvard.
Right.
Y'all is for the
Right. And that's the problem anyway. Like you said, go to Harvard, get that job. Bam. That's the problem. College only teaches you to be a good worker at a job.
Good worker.
It doesn't teach you to have your own.
Right. A good worker bee.
Yeah, college don't teach you.
A good worker be within the system.
Right.
Not to build the system.
Exactly. And that's all college teaches.
Right.
That's why I look at Bill Gates and all the rich. They either dropped out of college or never even went to college.
Right.
And they're the owners supplying the jobs.
Right. So they definitely understood something that we might not understand.
You really don't need it, to be honest.
Right. And like I said, to let the disclaimer out, we are not knocking getting an education. By all means, get your education. But we're just saying, understand the game and what's being played.
It's definitely a game.
Yeah, it's definitely a game.
You can play it and finesse it and do good in life, you know, but you don't necessarily need it to excel.
You can definitely make it on other means. I just seen a post on Facebook. I didn't get to read the whole article, but it was speaking specifically about how, as black people, we have forgotten about our trades.
Right.
There was a period, if you go back 20, 30, 40 years, black people were heavy in the trades, becoming barbers, becoming mechanics, becoming plumbers, things like that. And that's kind of fallen off to the side because now we value ourselves by getting, like you said, the Harvard education.
Right.
You know, I go here, I go there. And in all reality, that is all designed for you just to be an employee, whereas that plumber, that barber, may actually open a business.
You can have your own.
Yeah, it may actually open a business that can bring in, you know, other people. And like my man, Mr. Neely Fuller says, when do we wake up and stop bragging about the shit that white people taught us? Right. Right? You know, that's Mr. Neely Fuller. He was like, when you run into people with degrees, and I have a master's degree, and I have a PhD, and I went to Harvard, he was like, understand this. All they're doing is bragging to you about what white people taught them. Look what the white people taught me. I'm better than you now because they taught me that I'm better than you.
Right.
See, that's a twisted mindset. You get what I'm saying? It's a twisted mindset. So I think it's just understanding the game. So I'll read the second part here. It says the individual or group is inclined to compete among themselves and ally with outsiders rather than allying with the members of their own group to compete against outsiders. Yes, exactly. So we would much rather link up and compete on another team against our team.
Against our team.
Right. Rather than being on, you know, your team and competing against their team.
That's sad.
It's very, very sad. And, you know, there's a rhyme and reason for it. You get what I'm saying? Because, you know, the psychological warfare for 400 or 500 years. But I still think it's great to have these type of discussions. All right, so we're going to go to our next commercial break. We'll be back. Black by the Man radio show brought to you by blackbytheman.com, only at The Exposed Radio. We'll be back.
Crystal Renee Radio Show.
We call them pen pals in my family.
So glad you said that word because I've actually found out that there are websites, ladies and gentlemen. There are dating websites for men who are incarcerated. Yes. I'm so fucking lonely. I just may sign up for one of those websites.
Don't do it.
Don't you think I shouldn't?
Because they passing your letters around.
Is that what they do?
And one of his friends go send you a letter and then they go wind up asking you for a Verizon phone card and a couple dollars on their books because they just spent all that money.
You know a little bit too much.
Their daughter. I told you I have uncles.
Okay.
I know the game.
All right. Well, we're going to talk more about the game. The topic of the day, you guys, is called Dangerously in Love. Pen Pals.
Edition.
Your little
Check out this flashback from Talk Lately with Monty only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Hello. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, not much. What's going on with you?
All is well, all is well. I was just talking, I heard you talking about the climate and everything. So what do you think is like signs of the time?
Yeah, it could be.
No, it's not signs. I don't believe God is a woman. She ain't coming back no time soon. She's taking her time.
I like your thinking. She's a woman.
Say it again?
I said I like your thinking. She's a woman. She's smart.
Yeah, she's a woman. Women want to take their time. The thing is, you shouldn't be ready for God to come back. You should just get yourself ready. Period.
True. Be prepared.
Always.
I gotta make sure I go buy a boat this weekend then, because these floods ain't no joke.
Buy a boat.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna flood the city. If it do flood the city, maybe it wash away some of this crime.
But look, I live in Federal Hill. I live right next to the water. I'm next.
Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. You be next. You buy your boat. Federal Hill need to go down anyway.
Oh my God.
But the trailer trash down. I've been down there for years. I don't understand why black people would move to Federal Hill. That's where they was hanging people at.
Cause it's better. What?
Hello?
Yeah, I gotta go to break. I thank you for your call though.
Don't thank me. Thank them white people you live next door to.
I will as soon as I get home to make sure she sweeps up front because I'm on it.
Perfect. You better hope they ain't got no damn rope in their backyard because they hanging us.
Oh gosh, in Federal Hill, we don't have no trees.
They're gonna hang you from the porch. There ain't gotta be no tree.
A porch. All right, thank you. Damn, they hanging us. We'll be right back.
All this and much more every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Talk Lately with Money. Only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Do yourself a favor and listen to this hilarious flashback on Charm City Direct Radio Show.
You know me. I eat like this all the time. Do I gain any weight? No, at all.
You can have my belly right now. I'm giving away body parts. Somebody said they need a butt. Somebody said they need a butt.
I can use a little extra tissue there.
I can pop it right now.
He out here giving out butt cheek donations.
Hey everybody, it's your girl, the magical glow getter herself, Anissa Maureen, co-host of the Charm City Direct Radio Show. Catch me and the rest of my team every Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Black Body Man Radio Show. I'm your host, Brother Mike. Today, we are talking about inappropriate psychosocial behavior patterns of black people. So basically, inappropriate behavior patterns, right? And we're going to keep moving here, and I'm going to read this part out of Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Powernomics. That's what we're operating out of today. Okay, so Dr. Anderson says, what is even more troublesome is that the inappropriate behavior teaches white people and other groups how to treat black people. If black Americans want to change how they are treated, they must change what they are teaching their competitors. Now that's deep.
Wow.
You understand what I mean? That's deep, you know?
We don't demand that respect.
Right.
It's a collective group.
So, you know, he's saying when they're watching us as a people and seeing how we treating each other, that is teaching them how they need to treat us. Because we're showing them what's acceptable to us.
Most definitely.
Right? You get what I mean? And that's an interesting perspective because, like, I never thought of that until I read the book.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
we're teaching other races how to treat us. So when they see that we don't respect each other, when they see that we kill each other, that the crab pot effect, you know what I mean? That we only want to compete with each other, they're sitting back and saying, okay, well, that's how we need to treat them. Because evidently they like it. You know
That's true, man.
Evidently, they like it. You know, like when what they say when we were slaves, the white people were like, "See, they like being slaves. Look, they're singing. They're in the field singing. Goodness. You know, they like it, right?
That's how they sing.
They sing it. You know, so that's what he's getting at. You know, which you are you're teaching them how to treat you. So what can we do to start changing? You know, what they're learning from watching our behavior patterns.
I guess when I think about it, it's almost like the same when you teach a child when they're growing up. A lot of times it's not what you say, it's what you do in front of your child that shapes them into the person that you want them to become. Right. So you got to put that same, I guess, persona out there with other races. Like, you're not going to talk to me in that way. You're not going to think that you can treat me like...
Right.
Like you see other black people or what they find acceptable. You gotta hold yourself to a higher standard when it comes to everyone else.
So we want them to see that through how we deal with each other.
Exactly.
You know, like you said with the child, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so take family members, right? And say, you know, you babysitting the your nephew or whatever, right? And then your nephew acts up. Now you've seen your sister beat his ass before. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, so she taught you, how you doing? She's teaching you, this is what you can do. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So when the child does something that's inappropriate, and you thinking, you know what, I should whip his ass for doing that, right? Right. You're going to refer back to what you was taught from your family member when they dealt with them. Mm-hmm. So if you know that child can handle that, you know what I mean? That's going to encourage you to beat that ass. Right? Just like if you know your sister be like, no, I don't hit him because, you know, he's very sensitive and he don't handle that. Then that's going to teach you not to do that way. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think that's kind of how it's being looked at. You know what I mean? Because we've all been in those situations, you know what I mean? Where you got that family member and you dealing with them kids, and them kids bad. Right, and you like, see, that's the problem. She don't be whipping their ass. Right. They keep bringing them over here, though. I'm going to beat their ass. They keep acting up over here, right? You know, so we are teaching, you know, so I think he makes a valid point that, you know, when we are showing that we will, you know, kill each other, that we'll steal from each other, we only want to compete with each other. Mm-hmm. I think that is teaching them how they should treat us.
Because even with all the stuff that goes on with the police and the black community, it's always the argument of, well, they kill each other anyway, so...
That's the first thing that comes out their mouth.
That's the first thing they want to say, is they kill each other anyway.
I'm tired.
So why y'all mad?
I'm tired of hearing it, man.
Yeah,
like,
so
they
am
say
I.
it so much. Like, well, you guys kill each other's.
Right.
What the hell? Like,
we're giving them the excuse.
The excuse.
You understand what I mean? We're giving them the justification. You know what I mean? Because it is hard to argue that.
It is.
You know,
it's hard to get past that.
It is hard to get past it. You gotta be packing something knowledge-wise to combat that. Now, I wish they would say it to me.
Oh my goodness!
I got something for you, because I know the percentages. Yeah. I know that 84% of black people are killed by black people,
right?
But 90% of white people are killed by white people. You understand what I mean? Yeah, you know. So the statistics will tell you that ain't nothing different going on with them. But we do got to take in consideration the image that we're putting out to the other races. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So it looks like we up on another break. We on another break, Nate? Yeah, I think we are. Going to break. They can't hear me. Breaker 19. We going to break? Okay, all right. So we're going to go to break again. We'll be back.
Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show.
Focus on the word take for a moment.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I mean, when I begin to just, think about take, when you taking something. Yes, we think about, the possession and grab and hold, but when you taking something on, you're capturing it, you're securing it, and you become impregnated with that.
Wow.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
It's time for a flashback.
Now I'm not gonna say all Aries don't know, but
it's just the one you had. That was just
a single one, right? But it's always something that you can
go ahead. Listen, can you recollect any signs that you might not get right? October 15th or 16th. What is that?
And Libras.
See, I've had some good Libras and I had one really bad Libra, but he was white, so he his back anyway. So I don't. Wait, hold on, wait a minute. Demonstrate. You got to demonstrate the back.
No. Ain't no way.
Not the how they bust? Let me show how they bust. And they want to cry afterwards. I mean, what the is the point of the tears? I mean, I can see you shake, and shake it off real quick. But you crying? Out of here.
What was he crying for?
Cause baby, this make that. You there? I got that good. The shade.
Oh shit. McLean's Couch every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Hey everybody, this is your girl, the one and only, Thick Cows. Check us out every Saturday from 5 to 7, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
With our parents, they gotta have the best of everything, or when you go to school you gonna kill them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then you look and it's like, did you have it like that when you was in school? Nah, girl, my parents, I had to go to school with stuff, old tennis shoes and stuff like that. I ain't gonna let my kids go in, but a decent pair of tennis shoes, a decent slacks, whatever. I'm kind of glad that they did the uniforms.
Oh my God, they did the uniforms right while I was leaving.
They did the uniforms. It was like 2 years behind me right after I left from school. And I'm like, oh man, it saved a lot for our parents. It helped the parents a lot. But still, they still found the way to live vicariously through their kids.
Yeah. Because like with my daughter's school, when she was in school, as long as she wore the shirt, the school shirt, she could wear any pants. Or as long as she had like the cardigan on, the school cardigan, she could wear any outfit.
And do you realize, like private schools, county schools, deep county schools, they've been in different towns. They already been wearing uniforms. Even when you watch like an after school special, they have on uniforms. We're the only ones in the urban areas that did not have on uniforms.
Yeah.
We still were.
We was late getting
We
them.
were super late.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, good people? It's the man you all know and love, E Digger. Make sure you check us out every Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Just a bit outside radio show.
There is one glaring stat that I read about while watching the games over the weekend. New York Yankees went 22 straight innings with at least one strikeout.
Really?
That's a major league record for the postseason.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting statistic.
It is. You know, and then when you think about it, it's like, okay, you know, that, to me, that's like a big reason why, you know, they're losing right now.
Even as a comedian, if I say a joke and it just might not fit your cup of tea, but it's mine, that's what a comedian is supposed to do.
But people forget
everybody's not going to find your jokes funny. They better find mine funny.
But they forget that, though. They really forget that. They forget that but it's your view. That's why they didn't fire her.
Yeah.
Because her viewpoint is controversial.
Her view. That's the view she sees.
Right.
Everybody is clear to her.
Like they did their reaction to
cellophane.
They did the reaction to the Chris Rock Oscar.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Black Collar Man Radio Show. We are talking about inappropriate behavior patterns. I want to give the number out again for those who want to participate with us. If you know of any inappropriate behavior patterns that you feel we have as a people, please call in 410-702-5657. That is 410-702-5657. So I'm going to read a couple of the comments here because I want to thank everybody who's tuning in with us and participating with us today. All right, let's see what we got. So Miss Deborah Dennis Williams says, we must learn to love and support each other. Yes, Miss Williams, I definitely agree with that. How exactly we can get to that point is probably the more challenging question, but we do have to learn to do that. But after 400 or 500 years of psychological warfare, that's definitely an uphill battle. You know what I mean? That's an uphill battle, but absolutely correct. So let me see here. All right, my man Marcus, Mr. Clark. Marcus says we need to change our priorities. Examples like cars, shoes, clothes, outward physical competition with our own, like the bravado or peacock behavior. Okay. It feeds the stereotypes they want us to fill. Yes, so that goes into what we were saying, that we're teaching them how to view us,
absolutely,
how to treat us, by them watching how we are treating each other. Miss Carolyn Spencer says she's listening. Thank you, Miss Beanie. I'm glad you're here with us. So let's see what else we got here. We'll go through a couple more of the comments. So Joe Ray, Joe says, and this is going back to the college thing, he says college is mostly theory. Most of my former students work a trade and do well without college debt. And that's what we were getting at, you know, not knocking college, but just understand it's not the only route. And if you go back 25, 30 years, there were more people pursuing trades as well as college.
They had them in schools.
Right, because college is not the same no more. You know, like when I was young, what's the 80s? when I was a kid, right? If you got a college degree, that guaranteed you a job. Like most people didn't even have a job that was based on their actual major at college.
Right.
But the reason why they still got the job is because they knew if you made it through college, you had a certain level of discipline, you understood responsibility, and you understood work ethic.
That's not how it is now.
It's not how it is today. Today,
they
like,
can
if you
care
go to
less
college,
about your
really,
bachelor's.
Yeah, you really got to figure out the best major to take.
You're lucky to find a job in the major that you went to school with.
Right.
Aside of being like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Come on in, brother Nate.
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say nothing else. This is all I'm gonna say.
Come on in, brother.
I went to Coppin State University.
Okay.
Graduated with a theater degree, and now I teach a lot of young people. Now I agree, college isn't for everybody, but I grew up with a great grandmother who could not go to school.
Right.
You know, her parents were out of slavery, so we're that close to it. So I really don't agree with anybody saying we don't need it. Because I see a lot of young, but see, I see a lot of those Bill Gates and all of those people. They still had families that owned businesses that could give them resources where they could. Bill Gates' parents paid for him to go to school. He didn't get scholarships, so he chose to step out.
I got you.
And that because he knew what he wanted. A lot of us go to school, whether it be trade schools or high school or whatever, because we're trying to fill a void. I went to college because they needed more black men to be RNs.
Wow, nice.
And then they needed more black men to be teachers.
You got to represent, yeah.
But I don't like blood. I don't like death. And I'm halfway not liking them children all the time. So for me, it took me 1.5 years of wasting money and wasting time for me to find my passion.
Right.
I think college does two things. One, it educates you, not just about the white people, but that's why we have HBCUs. I don't always agree with going to Harvard or Yale because that's not my lane. But we have to be in a space where we are introducing our children to education because elementary, preschool, middle school, high school, they're not giving them anything. So they're going out into a world ready to live for Sam Walton's dreams or the Kmart family's dream. They're working towards those things. And I read that same article on social media about the trades.
Yes.
We had to work those jobs because they wouldn't let us do anything else.
That's true.
So
that's
now
true.
we have an open space to be able to choose our actual passion in life opposed to just working. Let Sam Walton's children, let Bill Gates' children become our plumbers. They're not going to do that.
No,
they're not going to allow their children to do that.
No, they're not.
So why do we have to then fill that void?
Right.
I agree we need skill sets to help us get through and help us get to our goals. But we shouldn't be made to feel like I have to be your plumber.
Yeah, that's
whether
true.
it's my business or not. I don't have to fill that void because I grew up with a great grandmother, like we all have them, that work. So I have these choices. And I think young people have taken that to an extreme now, and now our elders and the people in the middle are fighting against that because they want us to get back to that, but we don't have to. That's why you fought. That's why people were marching. So I did not have to be somebody's janitor and work my way up and retire, after 60 years of service.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
So that's the only thing I had to say. I mean, that's all I had to say because I'm a college educated person. I wasted a lot of time. I owe a lot of Sally Mae. But I would never tell I could never, with all honesty, I found me in
through
college.
that experience,
because I learned how to network. Most of my really good friends are from college. Most of my networking people my first year of interviews were college people that I know. And it just creates a sense of community that we don't have outside of the community. It can replace the gangs. It can replace bad friendships. It really is replacing families now. Like my mentor now was my professor in college. All the connections that I have is because I chose to go to school, and it just introduced me to this person. I didn't do the best my first year in school because I was, again, trying to do what my mother said and become this nurse because they need more black, strong men to lift up those patients. And I didn't want to do that. You don't... That's not what you want in your life.
No, I get
But if
it.
that's your lane, go down that road.
Yeah, I think with education... I think my take is, you're right, we should still get it. We still get it, we need it. I just want us to start recognizing that we also have to apply it to benefit us somewhere. Like, don't just get it and feel like, okay, I got this job. Now I'm good.
Well, that's when you're going to school to fill a position, opposed to going to school and finding yourself. That's why, as a freshman, you're not allowed to choose your major until your sophomore year. And I went there like, I'm gonna be a nurse. And the lady kept saying,
what you go for, you don't even end up staying with.
It's true.
I've got a CNA, GNA certificate and went to school, and I've never been a working nurse. Never. Not one time, because I just knew that wasn't I just was chasing a RN paycheck. A RA, I said RN paycheck. And that's it.
And a lot of people do that. I know a lot of people that became nurses just because of the paycheck.
Most definitely.
Which I think you got to have some caring in you to be a manners.
You gotta have more than caring in you. You gotta
have a good stomach.
Right, you gotta have all that, right?
Right. You naturally have to have good bedside manner. And it's doctors. I have a friend that went all the way to becoming a doctor and decided a year into his practice, after owing almost $100,000 in school loans, that he wants to be a singer.
Okay. Those are completely opposite sides of the spectrum.
Right, because I mean, he took all the minors in school, like that was his like free time classes. But you were doing something that somebody else wanted you to do. He has no sense of bedside manner, none. To be somebody's doctor, he doesn't go to the doctor himself.
Oh yeah, he's not built for it.
That's not he's not. Right. So I mean, that's all I had to say.
Well, thank you, Nate. We appreciate you, brother.
That's a good point.
Nate sitting there with us. Nate is the station manager. For all those who don't know who that was our man Nate. Yeah, Nate made some very valid points, and I'm glad he did that because we don't want to cause confusion and make people think that we're knocking college, right?
Absolutely.
We just simply want to
like
speak
I said, you can finesse it, man. Like he said, the networking ability.
Right.
Because without college, you don't have that. What he has, and it's harder. So, like I said, you can finesse college and make it work.
Yeah, you can. You can get something
out
out
of it. You just
got
to bring it back home at the end of the day and make it work for your people.
Try to do something to elevate your community. Show that you still on, your team.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's move on. Our next one is collusion with the competition. So Dr. Anderson says this type of behavior is visible in coalition building. It is without a doubt the most troubling for the race because it is a strategy used by so many of our black leaders. Although coalition building is a popular concept, coalitions almost always operate at the expense of black Americans. Even though the blacks themselves are not organized and do not have a stated group goal, condition building encourages them to coalesce with other groups that do have articulated goals rather than to organize their own group. So did y'all get that?
Segregation. That's what I'm saying. Pretty much.
Well, what he's saying is when you look at the coalition movement, I think they called it like the rainbow movement.
I remember that.
Going back through Jesse and Al and all them. Yeah. He's saying that is a mistake as black people because it's not going to fix our problem. We can't join other groups and then think becoming a part of other groups is somehow going to help fix our group, right? And he's saying that what you don't know is that the other people in the group are in the group specifically to help their group. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But black people are just in the group just to say, we're not racist. This is why we're not doing just a black thing. You know what I mean? This is a minority thing. You get what I'm saying? And he's like, nobody else is doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when we do coalitions, we end up losing in the end. Because nothing about the coalition was designed to further black communities. It's just you looking good on the surface when Jesse stepped forward or Al. And let me just say that I have nothing against Jesse or Al, but that's on record for who's supposed to be our leaders, right? So that's who I speak on, and they say, we're doing a rainbow coalition, with the Asians and the Caucasians and, together. We're going to make things better. Yeah. Right? Okay, so Dr. Anderson is saying...
How'd that work out?
How does that work out when you don't have it together individually as a community?
Right.
So you can't join other communities that have it together.
It's too soon.
Right, and then think you're going to benefit what they do all together. Right. When in all reality, you haven't fixed your situation yet. Yep. So the way I take it is he's saying you're not eligible to do a coalition with somebody. Right. First, you have to get black people together. And the way to do that is to do things that involve benefiting black people. And then once you are on that same level as the Asians or the Caucasians or whatever, then you can say, okay, well, now we can combine with them and then we'll do something else. He's like, but how are you going to combine with them when they're already in positions to benefit their people? I mean, what do y'all think about that?
Makes sense to me, man. I feel like it makes sense. Like each individual group have to be already strong as a unit, generating the dollar within their own culture strongly. Then y'all come together and y'all can be very powerful. But if you're broken, you're not even fixed individually yet.
Exactly.
It's senseless.
You're broke. You know, you're broken, as you said, right?
Absolutely.
So you can't join in on something else with people who ain't broken.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So the Asians ain't broken.
You can't join with another group when they don't understand the struggles that you go through for your own race. Like, how am I going to go to the Asians?
They ain't gonna focus on
They
it.
don't know what kind of struggle it is to be a black person. They understand Asian struggles, what they go through on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
They don't understand the black community and what our main problems are.
Right.
So how can you go somewhere else to fix something that
and believe they actually
understand.
care about your particular struggle? They don't care about your.
And he's
your
saying those Asians in particular, right?
Mm-hmm.
That coalition, part of that is for them to gain something as a group. But black people are just in it to look good. You know what I mean? To say, you know, we're not racist. You know, we've joined with the Asians and the Caucasians. And
anything not to be pro-black, basically.
Anything not to look pro-black. Yep. You got your comments up on your screen?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a comment on there from your pops. You want to read that?
My daddy said, that's the problem. No new real leaders anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree with that.
Leaders, yeah.
I just
Jesse and Al, they.
Yeah, it's and I hate to keep.
They had that time.
You know,
Nothing against
Jesse and Al, but
they had that time.
That's what we've been exposed to.
Yeah.
And the reason why my personal take is that they are not our black leaders,
right,
is on a logical level, right? We didn't vote for them.
Exactly.
So how does everybody else's leaders, right? So the Asian leader, the Caucasian leader, the Spanish leader, that group of people decided this is our leader.
Right.
With us, it's white people who decide who are black people's leaders.
Exactly.
I think Al Sharpton is a joke. Let's just put it out. I think he's a joke. I think
really
that
is.
he's like the biggest clown. Like,
because he speaks on what he want to speak on. He stay out of certain stuff, and then he come out of nowhere for certain stuff.
Right.
He's the person that the white people put into place to appease the black community. Like, he's saying to us what they want to say, but if it's coming from a black person, we're gonna take it better.
Right.
That's who Al Sharpton is.
Right. They're not exposing us to the truth.
No.
Right. So I'll read on here. Excuse me. Okay, Dr. Anderson says, when blacks participate in coalitions, they allow the unique status, history, and debt owed to blacks spread to all of the subgroups. Race is made synonymous with minority and racism, with any form of discrimination. These are gigantic distortions of reality and give fictional common ground for building coalitions between blacks and any other group that perceives itself as aggrieved. Blacks should not be against any group, but what political or economic benefits do they derive from coalitions with Asians, American Indians, Hispanics, women, that take black problems, right, and convert it over into minority problems?
Right.
Then propose non-specific universal solutions. Political coalitions crafted under the broad, ambiguous concepts of minorities, cultural diversity, and multiculturalism do not benefit blacks as a group. So, Dr. Anderson is saying, you know, like, we are a unique set of people. We are exceptional people. There's nobody else in America that has went through what black people go through. Past, present, future, right? Yeah. So anything that needs to be done for us needs to be very specific towards our goals based on what we face. So he's saying when you join coalitions, and it now includes the Hispanics, the Asians, whoever else, the Indians, right?
Right.
Now you're working on a goal to benefit everybody.
Right.
When in all reality, all of those are already in a better position than us.
Yep.
So when we join that, we're losing focus on us.
Mm-hmm.
And we now turn the focus into a minority thing. So whatever outcomes come from a minority procedure is not benefiting black people. It's benefiting really all these other people who came here, and now they get the certain status, because the whole minority thing is a trick in itself. Right. You get what I'm saying? The whole word minority was created to distort what black people go through and what we should be receiving. You know, so as a black person and a descendant of slaves, we are supposed to be entitled to certain things because of what we went through. We never received reparations. We never received a fair shot, period, right? Nope. And then we still suffer through racism, white supremacy to this very day. But yet, somebody can come from another country today and receive the same minority status as me and get everything I get, from affirmative action, you understand what I mean, to whatever else, and he's been here 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You see how that works? So that's what he's saying. We have to stop doing that. They are convincing us to turn everything into a minority issue instead of a black issue. Right? Yeah. So the Black Body Man radio show, we keep it black. It's all about the black. I'm sorry. It's about the black. And, and I don't feel like anyone should be offended because, we produce a show that focuses on black people. So if anyone gets offended, that, oh, the Black Body Man radio show is always talking about black people. Yeah, it's a black show. And you might be a racist. Pretty much. Because why are you getting mad about this? See, the thing about white media is because white society dominates everything, they don't have to give it the label of white. So if I say to you, you get what I'm saying? If I say to you, let's sit down and watch this show tonight. If I don't specifically say to you, it's a black show, it's an Asian show, it's a Middle Eastern Indian show, you already know it's a white show. Because they don't have the label in the society that they created. Right. If you go to school for psychology, you're studying psychology. That's what they tell you. They don't tell you it's Eurocentric psychology. They call it psychology, right? But when you become a psychologist, you are now labeled as a black psychologist. Wow. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the game that's being played. So I agree with Dr. Anderson. We can't be afraid to focus on things that deal with us. So I'll read the last part here. He says, in collusion with the competition, coalitions give black Americans a trickle-down political experience. They get what is left after gender, ethnic, religious, disabled, and Spanish language groups get in the coalition and receive what they want and what they need. Black Americans lose by default due to the inappropriate behavior of leaders who choose cross-group alliances, white approval, and corporate dollars at the expense of their group. So he's talking about our leaders. Right. So he's saying because these leaders are too afraid to say, no, we're not doing a coalition. What I'm here is representing something that's going to benefit black people, They
wouldn't dare say that.
No, they're not going to say that.
And I was hoping Obama would be the one that would say something like that.
Right.
When he was president.
I think the closest he did was when he talked about was it Trayvon Martin? He was like, that could have been my son.
That could have been my son.
So that was the closest he ever came to it.
And the conservatives went crazy over that statement.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, how can you hate that statement?
It's that built-in superiority and inferiority. Superiority being put into white people as well as other groups, and then inferiority being put into black people.
Right.
It's sad, but nobody likes black people being for black people. White people don't like it. Asian people don't like it. Spanish people don't like it. God damn it, black people don't like it. Now, that's bad. That's bad. Black people don't even like it. Like, you can make black people uncomfortable, nervous by talking about black, just being too black. You know what I mean? Just being too black.
Real talk.
So I think we have another comment on here from your father, if you want to read
My dad has a lot to say today.
Yes, he does. Sugar Dennis, what's up, brother?
He said a lot.
Let's see. You want to read that?
He said, first we have lost the foundation of organizing. Hence, we're only organizing for murder. We aren't organizing in defense of social economic injustices that continue.
True. Very, very true.
That's true. Man. Black people will come together in a heartbeat for a murder.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Of another black man.
Yes. Oh, man.
They love that.
Point, Kevin. Yeah. I didn't even think of that. You're right. So if I got beef with another black person,
they love
I can gather some brothers up quick. Like, come on, man, we going to go get Kevin. They let me finish eating this real quick. I'm with you.
They be act too,
right? Right. But if I say, come on, let's go see Kevin speak tonight, he's going to be speaking on some black issues.
Right.
I can't make it, yo. My girl already called me earlier. I can't make it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a valid point. That is a valid point. Mr. Dennis, we appreciate you participating today, brother.
Oh, shit. He said we also don't have more brothers like you looking to share the knowledge. Money is the power, but the roadmap to obtain said power is a secret being held by the very few.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
That's some knowledge right there. Yeah. Dad bringing it in today. That's what's up, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. I'm trying, brother. I'm trying to stimulate a little bit. And,
he's trying to get his spot on the show.
Is that what we doing? Well, he got that. We look forward to your father coming on the show in the future.
Right.
Sitting down with us, chopping it up a little bit. That's what's up. Okay, so let's keep it moving here. Now we're going to go into social etiquette. Okay, behavior patterns in this category appear to stem directly from the old social or Southern racial etiquette. Though one of the major accomplishments of the black civil rights movements of the 1960s was to modify some of the social etiquette that traditionally existed between blacks and whites, many blacks across America, especially in the South and Midwest, continue to honor old social customs. They avoid situations that make them appear free, independent, and active in shaping their own lives. They are perfectly happy to go to work, church, look at television, and then go to bed. They still know their place, and they know how to play the old get low, is what Dr. Ensign calls it. Get low. He says to them, what happens to black people locally or anywhere else is of little of their concern.
Yep.
They want to appear as good Negroes, content, happy, compromising, and non-competitive. A good Negro or a safe black person seeks approval of white people. These blacks will neither soak up nor speak out on black issues, nor will they defend against black justice. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Like that fits so many black people. It's insane, right? But how about the whole let me flip back real quick. I want to read this right. How about he says that we are just perfectly happy with going to church, going to work, looking at television, and going to bed, you know, which clearly shows that we still know our place.
Yep.
So he's saying we still supporting the get low concept, meaning I fly below the radar.
Yep.
That way I can keep everything I got.
Keep your head down. And
right.
Mind your business, do your work.
So what do y'all think about that type of behavior? Be a good Negro.
It comes from back in the days, you know, slavery, you know.
I guess I'm not a good Negro, huh?
Yeah. That's a good thing, man.
Definitely not.
Brother Mike's not a good Negro.
No.
Gotta be a rebel, man.
Oh, man, I go at him hard, don't I? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that concept fits a lot of us, and I think a lot of that concept is supported through getting that education. Now, again, not knocking education, but you know, black people who get educated, they definitely want to appear to be good Negroes.
That's true.
You know, I don't ruffle the feathers.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't do any of that. Okay, so let's get into this good Negro thing. After the break, we'll be back. Black by the Man Radio Show.
The Exposed Radio.
Let me do that.
There's certain things for everybody.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
There's a time and a place for everything. Maybe if I'm sitting down reading a book and then I'm like, all right, cool, let me throw this Lupe on, get this real lyrical going on, and maybe I see a whole nother side of something. But if I'm sitting down with a bottle, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. Like, you might turn on the right Lupe song, you feel me? And because I'm drunk, I'm going to get lit for it.
Right.
But, yeah, for the most part. No.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Shepsworth Bentley. And make sure you guys check out Homegrown Radio every Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com. It's new, fresh, Baltimore radio.
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
It doesn't say alleged anywhere in here.
This is the wrong song to play in this topic.
They're saying 4 years ago, according to a $20 million lawsuit, the plaintiff, who was also not named, met Charlie Sheen in Las Vegas on April the 1st, 2011. The sleaze suit claimed that Sheen...
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
I don't like stuff in my mouth. It's after what you was talking about.
It's in this commercial closing.
No, seriously, I don't. I'm a germaphobe. Everything on your body is dirty.
Everything.
So I'm damn sure I ain't gonna put it in my mouth. That's probably why I'm single. Thank you.
Is there a lies button?
Somebody slapped me on my face with one before. I had to get up and go wash my face. That was done. I said, how dare you?
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
So we're going to get a little bit into the album with Miss Amira and learn the basis of it, the Banji soul of it all.
Yes.
So let us know, first of all, what is Banji soul?
Banji soul is basically just real. It's real soul. It's real. It's not cut down. It's not watered down. It's, you know, how as hot as it came off of my mind and my heart. That's what it is. And a lot of the times I get a little tangy, you know, tangy, bangy, ratchet, whatever, how you like to put it, classify it. But I like to say bangy, you know, because I'm classy.
Bangy is a little classier.
It's a little classier. That's got your pinky up.
Right.
You got your pinky up with that.
Okay, we got to keep the bees, the bougie, the banji.
Yeah.
Right.
So she's created her own lane, Banji Soul. So let us know how that is covered in the album that released on the 9th of this month, right?
Yes. Well, I did it to a number of industry tracks, including like the Beatles Come Together, and I did a Lindsay Lohan joint. You remember the Confessions of a Broken Heart?
Okay.
And a lot of stuff I aimed to like change the theme that was originated, or just to. It was my therapy.
Okay.
It was my therapy.
So that's why this is a mixtape.
Yes.
Okay, because you did a lot of remakes. Okay, I got you. The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Check out. You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
I'm a little under the weather today, but I love my people, so I'm toughing it out, man, so I can still get this done with you guys. So bear with me a minute here. Let me see. Facebook just kicked me off. Facebook just kicked me off because I wasn't being a good Negro.
See, they watching.
They watching. Facebook said I got something for him. So yeah, so let's read a comment here. So this is my cuz, Terry Smoke. Terry says, we only riot when people from the outside of the area came to Charlotte and asked people why they weren't upset when they saw a man killed in cold blood. They still have slave mentality down here. Okay. For the most part, to me. Yeah, Terry, I haven't had experience with, living in the southern region, but that is where Terry's at right now. You know what I mean? He is from up here in the Maryland area. So I definitely believe that, I've had dealings, with people, who had a certain mentality and then they just happen to be from the southern region, the United States. So yeah, that mentality may be a little hanging around a little bit more down there than it does up here. The whole be a good Negro type thing, don't ruffle the feathers. But I think that mentality has to come to an end because you don't see Asian folks saying I gotta be a good Asian. You know what I mean? You don't see Spanish people like I gotta be a good Latino. Right. But black people think we gotta be, good Negroes because that's the system that they put in place. Now when y'all think about something like that, right? So let me define the good Negro again. These are people that have no concern for what happens with black people. As long as they get to go to work, go to church, look at television, and go to bed, they look at all situations dealing with black people as none of their business, none of their concern. Of course, until it happens to their son, their daughter, their nephew, cousin, so forth and so on. So when y'all think about people who might fit that mentality, even if you don't want to give names, what type of black person comes to mind?
It's a lot of them. The black conservatives I see on Fox News.
Yeah, I go back to the conservative thing, right?
That doesn't even sound right, black conservatives.
Right, and that's why I try to break down to the audience.
Right.
What is it that you are conserving? You know what I mean? So as a black conservative, you are conserving the system. Yeah. You know what I mean? So a black conservative is simply somebody that white people realized could become a threat. So they scooped them up and put them on their team. They made them a black conservative. Whether they understand consciously or subconsciously, what you are conserving is white people being on top and black people being on the bottom. And that's why when you deal with some of them people, you see that they can't relate to you on a certain level. And they don't want to.
They don't want to.
They don't want to. They don't want to at all. It's sad. But I'll move on to the next one, which is avoiding blackness. Ooh. Yeah, avoiding blackness is definitely an inappropriate behavior. And again, I play the devil's advocate here. I do understand the psychological warfare that we face, so, some people do that. But he says, blacks who exhibit this behavior avoid association with any form of blackness. right? They want to be the first or only black person in an integrated company, school, neighborhood, organization, or political party. Like whites, many blacks gauge the amount of black presence, and anything that is not integrated or is all black is too black or politically incorrect. Now, that hit home for me because I've been talking about that for years, right? This phenomenon is peculiar to blacks. There is no similar expressions that someone or something is too Jewish, too Indian, too white, too Asian. No, only too black. You understand what I mean? Crazy. Avoiding blackness allows many to live in a state of denial until the reality roosters come home. And the reality roosters usually come home when the police are busting you upside your head. And suddenly you realize, I guess I couldn't avoid this blackness. No, not at all. You know what I mean? But yeah, that is food for thought. Have you guys ever heard of anybody being too Jewish, too Indian, too Hispanic, too Indian?
Not at all.
I think it's a beautiful thing when you can go somewhere and be surrounded by your people.
By your people. I'm supposed to feel safe.
Right.
I'm supposed to feel
the level
safe.
of comfort that comes with that.
So we do suffer from that type of inappropriate behavior. There are black people who they don't want to deal with nothing that they think is too black.
Like you get use interracial relationships as an example, which I'm not against at all. But the problem I have with in particular black men that have this mindset, which is they only going to deal with a white woman.
Right.
It's nothing wrong with dealing with anybody from another race, but when you purposely stay away from your own race, your whole life, everybody you ever dated was non-black, and you're a black man. That doesn't sit well with me.
Right.
To me,
especially not when you're a black man. Like you can't be a black woman. How dare you?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You know,
like you can mix it up a little bit. White girl from black.
I
you never
understand
had a
love.
black girl. Like
you know what I mean? I do understand love, and people fall in love with people. But just like as a black man, you know what I mean? Like my first interaction with a black woman was my mother. So the first love I experienced with a woman came from my mother. You know, black mother. From me being in her womb to being a baby. You know, the emotional attachment. I don't understand growing up and then wanting to have a white woman. I don't get it. You know what I mean? I've heard people's opinions, you know what I mean? And I respect their, opinion on it. But to me, I think it weakens our race. I think it weakens our bloodline. And it has not benefited us. And you will never be who she is. You get what I'm saying? And you don't understand the power that you'll never be white. You'll never be white. And as much as she'll try to pull you through, society and get you further acceptance, it's not going to happen. And at the end of the day, you don't understand the power that she has. All she got to do is call them police one time. Okay?
That's it.
Your ass going to wish you ain't have a white woman. Okay? Because they going to come and deal with your ass.
Oh, they going to deal with you, man.
But, that's just our personal take on it.
Nothing against.
Like nothing against it. I don't knock anybody that does it,
But I know that I love my black queens too.
Sure.
I would never put them down.
We got to strengthen our people, right?
Yeah, act like they're on the bottom of the list and the white woman is like above. No, that's not. That's not
as they say, the old stigma that as a black man, you haven't made it until you get the money and the white woman. Right.
NBA.
That's insane to me.
That's crazy.
It is. It's very insane. So do we agree that we have black people that avoid blackness? And think that certain things can be too black. Now I've personally experienced where he talks about these people want to be the first. I remember being in the barbershop that I worked in a couple years ago, and there was a brother in there, and he was older than me, but he was bragging about how the neighborhood he lives in, he's the only black person there.
Really?
And that the white church he goes to, he's the only black person in that church. Wow. And I was like, I don't understand why do you feel good about that?
I feel like
why are you bragging?
Right, why are you bragging about that?
What are you saying?
And his whole perspective was like, well, it's my way of showing them that they can't keep me out, you know what I mean? And I can get along with anybody. And I'm like,
but are you trying too hard?
Trying a little
probably
too hard.
Are.
See, I don't want to be anywhere where people don't want me to be.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, if I come into a bunch of money and I can live, in a different type of neighborhood, I don't want to live in a white neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's not because I'm running around hating white people. It's just because that's not my people.
Deep down, they really don't want you
there.
They
don't want you there.
Most of them, not all of them, is like that.
Right,
but you can tell, man. Most of them,
they don't want you there.
You can tell by the way they look at you.
Right. So why would I want to force myself to live amongst people who I know don't want me there, right? I would much rather take my money and start building a black community that has that same social status.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Where people can say, well, you know, all the houses over there started $500,000.
Get that money and put your
and then it's
people
a black
on.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So I don't validate myself through the eyes of white people, Asian people, or anybody else. And of course, I don't avoid blackness at all. I'm a true believer that for those who do believe in the Bible and believe in the scriptures, right? The first gift that was given to Adam was his blackness. You understand what I mean? And we just happen to live in a society that is trying to teach me differently. But here at the Black Body Man Radio Show, we love our blackness. So I'm very proud to be who I am, man. And I grew up in a state of mind where, you know, being dark really wasn't the thing in the 70s and 80s. But I still didn't, you know, let it get me on the path where I began self-hatred, because I understood that, you know, those people were just tripping. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they was tripping. The whole light-skin, dark-skin thing or whatever. You know, it's just a matter of preference. Do you like dark chocolate? Do you like milk chocolate? You like caramel? Right? You know what I mean? You like banana flavor? You know, so many different
flavors, man.
It's all good.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that is a problem. And I think it's sad that there are black people, like he was saying here, that will gauge how many black people are at, say, in a work environment or neighborhood or whatever, and then say, well, I don't want to live there. You know, it's already too many black people out there. You know, that's crazy. It's sad. So when it comes to avoiding blackness, like what do you guys think of when you think about a person who avoids blackness? Any examples of how you see someone who would avoid blackness? In their actions, in their words.
I think once, like especially in the workplace, people that once they get to a position of power, it's like they look down on other black people. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but like I have a couple of black supervisors, and now that they in those roles, it's like, oh, you're not for your people no more. Like they just be like trying to like, not hang you up to dry, but like they try to make an example of you. Sort of
attitude change.
Yeah. And then they may get rewarded for that.
Right.
So that's what makes it even worse. Yeah. It's one thing they want to do it just because they want to appear to be different. But then when you add in that, you know, you may be rewarded, you know, by the white people for conducting yourself a certain way with the black people, so forth and so on. You know, it is.
You say that a lot, crazy. Man. Like they'll be extra tough on the black employees, and all types of jobs, from fast food to the higher ups. When you put a black person in position, you gotta be careful, man, because if they got that ego trip, they'll turn out to be.
It happened to me just a couple. Okay, so at work, it was like a group of us that work in the pharmacy, and one of the managers came back, and she's a black woman. Now, mind you, she's just a pharmacy tech, but she's, you know, in a position higher than just, you know, the floor techs or whatever. So there wasn't a lot of work to be done. So everybody's, you know, standing around talking. A couple people were checking their phones, whatnot. And she had walked away and then came back and she goes, oh, you guys must not know I'm a manager, and why is your phones out? And I'm thinking to myself, well, one, being as that we're all grown, who are you to come over here and start talking to people like that? She could have
did that a better way.
Right. And two, we all the same color. And you know when you see another black person of power, like it's almost like an understanding, like, you don't come at me crazy, I don't come at you crazy. It's like a respect thing.
Right, code. That's like code.
It's like that unspoken black person.
She felt like y'all should have saw her and went, oh, they put my phone away.
Right. But it wasn't even the fact that the phones are being out. It's just the way she addressed everybody.
It's not
As
what
a black
you say,
woman coming to other black women, it's like, oh, now everybody got an issue with her because we all know she's not a black chick that we can, you know, talk to like that.
She might not be down for the cause. You know what I mean? So basically what I'm hearing is she got a hold of Master's whip.
She did.
And she coming to whip y'all.
That's what it felt like. That's what it looked like.
You understand what I mean? She got a hold of that. Shout out to Stacey Davis Smith. Thank you, Stacey. I appreciate you tuning in with me. I really do. It sounds like she got the whip. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what I don't like personally. I can only speak on this with men, right? And I've experienced this more with black men than I have with black women. You know, like there may come a time where I'm in a situation. It could be a work environment. It could be business meeting or whatever. But say me and Kev, you know, get a minute together. Now, this whole time I'm talking to Kevin, I'm like, you know, hey, Kev, how are you? You know what I mean? How's your day going? You know what I mean? So forth and so on. Me and Kev stand on the politically correct level. But then when nobody's around, you know what I mean? I'm like, Kev, let me holler at you a minute, y'all. You know what I mean? Let me holler at you. See, I hate when black men try not to acknowledge that. You get what I'm saying? Like, well, holler at me. What are you talking about? It's like, yo,
what is this holler you're talking about?
Let me rap with you. Let me holler at you. And they don't want to relate to you on that level.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because they're so afraid that the white people are going to see you having that black connection.
Having that Ebony slip out
right.
you.
They don't want us having black connections, right? They don't want to see that me and Kev talk outside of, just some work conversation or whatever. And we tend to stray away from that because we don't want to get in trouble.
Right.
See, that's the whole good Negro.
They want to remain a good Negro.
Right.
Or get that perception versus.
Now, I'll tell my personal story. I'll open up a little bit. The whole reason that I became an entrepreneur, right? And this may offend somebody, and it just says what it is. The whole reason I became an entrepreneur is because I do not like working for white people. I don't.
Right. I don't either.
I just don't. You know what I'm saying?
I can't do nothing better right now, but I don't like it either.
I'm sorry. I do not. I've never been treated fair. I've never been treated equal.
I got you.
But instead of being at someone's job and then being a problem, I always was a great employee. But at the same time, I was always planning my escape. I can't do this.
Right.
I retired my top hat and my dancing shoes, my tap dancing shoes. I gave all that shit back 18 years ago. Okay? So, and I know that's not everybody's path, but that's how passionate I was about it, even as a younger man. Yeah. Like, I saw the game. Like, this ain't cool. Right. It's not cool at all.
Talk to you any kind of way.
Yes. Yeah. And then the whole, workhorse type thing. Like, I worked in factories and warehouses and distribution centers. I did everything from receiving with trucks to picking to driving forklifts. And the one thing that was the common theme that I seen all the time is that all these brothers and sisters was in the back, and it's hot and it's hard work. And then in the front, nobody was black in the front. Everybody in human resources, business support, all those people was white, right? And I used to get so offended when I'm in the back, we back there sweating. It's 106 degrees, we lumping trucks and all that. And then here comes Debbie from Human Resources. And this chick got a sweater on.
Wow. How dare she?
It's so cold in the front. It's warmer back here. And I'm just looking like, I gotta get the hell out of here. I can't do this. I cannot do this. So I'm just a person that wasn't built for that. I recognize I did not like how this whole system worked. And I refused to do it. So once... and again, when I was young, I was in the streets. I was doing some entrepreneur type things in the streets. Right. So, as far as I was concerned, if I could make it out here in this street, I know I can do something in the legit world.
Translate it.
Yeah, I can transfer this over because in the legit world, I ain't worried about nobody snitching. I ain't worried about sticking up kids. I ain't worried about the police kicking in my door at 3 in the morning. So I just straight didn't like it. I wasn't being treated properly. Yeah. And I had the type of mindset, even as a youngin', I'm looking at adults who at that time was the age that I am now, right? And I felt like they were settling. I'm looking like, man, you've been working here 17 years. Like, bro, you is crazy. There's no way. I've been here 17 minutes. I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to quit. So I don't think that drive was a bad thing. Now my mother was worried about me. Because all my mother, with her old school ethics, all she could see was, this boy keep quitting these jobs. You know what I mean? I don't know how he gonna make it in life. He keep quitting these jobs. Yeah. So now my mother looks back and we laugh. And she's like, well, I'm glad I didn't, keep on trying to push you back into work and just let you do your thing. Yeah, let me do my thing. Because I used to cut hair. You know what I mean? I still cut to this day. But it was so sickening to me. And then to see my people were just zombified. You know what I mean? Any black person back then that you would have said, you know what, man, I don't like this work. It was like blasphemy. Yeah. Boy, you better keep this good job. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Get paid every week. They $10 an hour in here. This in the 80s, right? So $10 an hour was
good money back then.
But so when I come across people who have that vibe at a young age, I try to feed it because I believe when I was young, they tried to take that out of you. You know what I mean? If you had that mentality, I'll do my own thing. No. I talked to Mr. Johnson. He gonna get you that job. You know what I mean? Over there at the warehouse, and I don't want to work in the warehouse. You know what I mean? I don't want to do this. And so I think it's important that we know you can opt out. You can opt out. It's a tough road, but you can opt out. So I exchanged freedom for what they called guaranteed money back then. But again, I was a young kid, cat from the streets of Harford County. If you telling me the only thing I'm sacrificing is this little check that they're giving me every week, oh, I can get that money. I don't need this check to get that money. You understand what I'm saying? So that it spawned me to want to be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? I just did not like working for white people. I did not. You know, I don't want to work for anybody.
Right.
But I haven't worked for black people, so I can't say.
Right.
You know, I don't like working for black people.
I
The
got
job I've ever had was not owned, you know, by black people.
Right.
So it can be a problem having to do that song and dance every day. You know what I mean? It can definitely be a problem. So that's what spawned me on, man. You know, to say, I don't want to do this. And I got a right to be that way.
Absolutely.
Okay, right?
Yep.
So you know what happened? I got labeled as too black. Yeah, too black. See, that thinking on a plane where you don't want to be, you know, a modern day slave, they're like, oh no, he's too much.
Right.
He's a militant.
We can't control this guy.
Can't control him.
Get him out of here.
Can't control him. But Brother Mike been free for 18 years, so kick rocks. Let's keep it moving. All right, so Dr. Anson says avoiding blackness is counter to the way out group respond. They exhibit an increased sense of consciousness and close to their ranks. They create associations, organizations, and businesses dedicated to whatever characteristics others dislike. For instance, Jews are persecuted because of their religion. They protect and strengthen themselves by building Jewish businesses, organizations, and tight-knit communities. They build Jewish synagogues that teach Jewish culture and religion. They help build and support the Jewish state of Israel. Okay, so what he's saying is when a group gets labeled, right, with certain things, all the other groups take that and amplify it. You know, so when you label the Jews as being too religious, you know what I mean, too, you know, just about themselves, they go harder at being religious and strictly about themselves. And it's also it's like a manner of making the world see you're going to respect how we get down. You know what I mean? Whereas like black people, when we get labeled trying to be about black people, so forth and so on, because other people are not respecting it, we disband. You get what I'm saying? We'll say, nah, we don't do that no more because we got too much backlash. People were complaining. And he's saying no other group does that. He says women, the LGBT, and Asians all respond to this type of adversity by building more businesses, more organizations, more tight-knit communities around their culture. So he's saying whatever they complaining about you, you should do more of it. Because it's bringing them a problem. You understand what I mean? And they want you to think that because they don't like it, you should stop doing it. But nobody else does that. Not the LGBT, not women. You know, like the more you talk down about women's rights, the more women push for women's rights. So he's saying that's what you're supposed to do. And everybody does it except black people. So when people down us and say, you know, the Black by the Man radio show is too black, they're expecting me to bring it to an end. You understand what I mean? Because it's people opposing it. Now he's saying that the reality is you should go even harder. You should make it a bigger show. You should make it blacker. You understand what I mean? Right. To make them respect it. Make them respect it. I mean, what do y'all think? Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
He says when whites say they despise black people, blacks adapt the same attitude.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about. See, they're influencing the way that we operate. You get what I'm saying? So if they come forward and say this is too black or this is too radical, then black people look at it and say, yeah, no, I agree, he is a little too radical.
Right.
But nobody else does that. If you tell the Jews, I think it's just too Jewish, they make it even more Jewish.
Yep, they can care less.
If you tell women this is too feminine, they make it more feminine, right? But we the only ones who disband and say, all right, well, let me put an end to this because people are not feeling good about it. Right. He says they imitate whites and run from blackness, which should serve as a rallying point around which to build defenses. When blacks run away from themselves and avoid their skin color, heritage, history, and other members of the race, they become vulnerable and defenseless. They cannot protect themselves. Oh.
Deep. That's deep.
That's deep?
Yeah.
So we can't be running away from our blackness.
Nah, you gotta embrace it, man. Like you say, you can't be trying to, you know, switch up because somebody's pointing something out that you're doing to benefit your culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
You can't let people make you feel
have a backbone,
that you're doing something wrong because you're trying to be pro your people.
It's almost going back to slavery, like when we tried to read, don't read. When you try to do this, don't
Right.
do that. It's the
Right.
same mindset.
Same mindset.
Now.
So I can imagine black people back then was probably saying to other black people, you better stop reading.
You better stop reading. Yep.
Right, you know what I mean?
Master,
You're
he reading.
doing too much reading.
Yep.
But I can see how that builds respect from other races because, like, when you hold fast in something,
yes,
you may not agree with it, but I respect the hell out of you for still going with it.
Exactly.
So I can see why, you know, it
Exactly.
builds that respect in you to keep just doing what you're doing.
Yes, yes. Yeah, like I said, with me, I display it through the Black by the Man brand, Black by the Man radio show, blackbytheman.com. And of course, attaching the word black to it, I already knew black people was going to be uncomfortable. White people wasn't going to like it. You understand what I mean? But I'm not going to let that stop me from being proud of who I am.
That shouldn't be the case.
It shouldn't be the case, man. And nobody should be offended.
Just that one word gets you like
right,
black.
Right.
What's
a word that should mean nothing but love to you. Like,
right, nothing but love to you. But it will scare black people to death. And I'm not the one that accepts that. And I have found that my attitude, the things that I like to discuss, the things that I display, it does make black people uncomfortable. But it also has made white people respect me. I have white people that watch my show, you know, and they respect what I'm doing because they understand when I speak about something that white people did, something, white supremacy, so forth and so on, it's true. You understand what I mean? So why should I not be able to say it out of the fear that a white person's watching it? He knows, she knows true too.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I'm speaking on history. So if you wasn't offended in school when you was taught about white supremacy and slavery, right? Then why should you be offended in real life when someone brings it up?
That's true.
But see, they've trained us not to speak on the things that they've done to us and the things that they do to us.
Still doing, yeah.
Right. And they trained us well. So even black people don't want to talk about it. I say it all the time. Nobody can tell me anything different on this. The number one problem that black people have in this world, let alone just the United States of America, is racism, white supremacy. That's our biggest problem. Every problem that you have can be tied into that. You can tell me any problem, and I guarantee you I can tie it into racism, white supremacy. So if that's our number one problem, and that can solve basically all our other problems, how can it at the same time be the number one thing we don't want to talk about? That is just, that's crazy as a bag of angel dust. You understand what I'm saying?
That's how they get it.
Yeah, you know, and that's how they programmed us. So somebody has to not be afraid to talk about it. And, you know, I'm not afraid to talk about it because I've reprogrammed my mind where I don't care what outside people are thinking about what I'm trying to bring forward in regards to my people. And I know everybody's not going to develop that mindset, and I don't expect it. But all I ask is that if you don't like it, shut up, right? And if you do like it, cheer me on.
Right.
But don't get
That's the
out
thing.
there and be the opponent.
I don't think it's so much the people that don't agree with what you're saying. I think it's the perception of what others will think because they agree with it.
Because they agree with it. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's
Right.
what it is. Like,
Deep down, they know it's true and it's right, but they don't want to be seen saying it's right. Or,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Being a part of
They
it.
can't let them white people find out
Right.
that they agree with some pro-blackness.
That's true.
But like I said, but believe it or not, my experience has been that white people tend to respect you more, even if they don't like it.
They do.
Because white
They
people
know where you
are
stand.
about white people.
Yeah, they know where you stand.
And I don't
They
have a
are.
problem with that.
Yep.
See, that's the flip side of it. You understand what I mean? Like, I don't have a problem with white people being about white
Exactly.
people.
Pro-white.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at that
Yeah,
because
it's
I want
just-
you to respect pro-black.
Yeah,
you're right.
it makes sense, right? So to think that white people are for white people, I mean, it's in your face every day.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? All you got to do is look at society, you know? So I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying I want to be for my people, and I don't want nobody to have a problem with that. You know, I'm just trying to play the game.
Yep.
So black people out there, I love you. You know, I love my people, and I want to do my part to try to, you know, make things better for us through education, conversations, so forth and so on.
Yep.
So it's a wrap. We have reached the end. Closing comments, anyone? Closing comments?
No, sir. Everything pretty much was covered.
I think we did cover a lot. So
Well,
do you
it's
guys?
good, man.
So do you guys agree that we need to start focusing on some of these areas of inappropriate behavior?
Absolutely.
Dr. Anderson's deep, ain't he?
Yeah.
That's my
Hell
man.
yeah.
That's my man.
It'll help us out collectively if we, paid attention and try to fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
Try to recognize areas that need improvement.
Got to admit you got a problem first. That's the first step.
That's what's up. Okay, well, we've come to the end, everyone. Again, I thank you for tuning in to the Black by the Man radio show. And I thank my guest, Mr. Kevin Little.
Anytime, man.
As well as Miss Samantha Dennis. Happy birthday once again.
Birthday.
26 years old.
Getting
Must
old.
be nice, right?
I'm getting old, man.
26, right? Get your 30 and up club card.
Soon.
So we're going to wrap it up, man. And again, I thank everybody who tuned in with us and thank the audience for participating. And we'll be back next Monday, man. Please tune in. And y'all already know what's up. I'll catch you on the flip side. You already know.
The black side.
Peace.
That's like my new favorite saying.
You like
Black
that?
side. Yeah.
That's what's up.
It's a good show.
Yeah, I think they stopped it up. Yeah, I like it. We talk a little bit on the BBD shit.
Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Welcome to the Artist Exchange Radio, brought by BeExposedRadio.com.